Let's go ahead and look at how we can use weather data within Medius.Re to help us analyze the data that we have collected from our variety trials. So I'm going to go to snack chip trials here, but you can go to any one of these trial groups in the trials page. And you'll see here in the list of trials that we have these weather icons. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this weather icon to pull up the weather data for this storage trial in Michigan. The first thing that you'll notice is that it defaults our date range to be from the date of planting to the date of harvest. Now if you're interested in expanding that date range out, you can go ahead and click anywhere in these calendars and then hit apply. But we're going to look at the planting date all the way to the harvest date. The other thing you'll notice is that if there's any other dates that are available within the trial data, those will be indicated here as well. So we have vine kill, and there was an additional sample date that occurred here. Let's say we want to compare now our max air temperature to precipitation. Over here on the side where I have my additional y-axis, I can go ahead and add precipitation, and that will automatically default to a bar chart. So now what I see over here on my left axis is our temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, and over here on the right y-axis I see my precipitation in inches. So I can now see where I may have had a large amount of rain on a day that had a higher temperature. Could give me some indication as to why the data looks the way it does when analyzing different things for these potato varieties. Now let's say I'm curious about how this weather performed this year compared to previous years or over multiple year average. So I'm going to go here to average years, and I'm going to increase this to 5 and then click on the little reload icon there. What I'm looking at now is I have this grayed out shading here that shows me what the 5-year average was over the same time period, as now looking at the current time period in the darker line as well as the bars down here for precipitation. You'll notice down here in the lower left for each one of the data fields available for weather, we give you the min, the max, the average, and then the total sum for the date range that you have selected. Obviously not all data fields will be valid to know the sum or the average, but we provide all of that aggregate data for you. Looking at growing degree days, the threshold, the default for Potatoes USA has been set to 40. But let's say that you want that to be a different value. You can go ahead and just change that to be 50 and then reload your weather data. And now we will reset the chart with the growing degree days to be 50 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and change that back to 40 and reload our chart data. Now, let's say you wanted to look at this weather data in more detail. You can go ahead and click on weather data, and now what you're going to see is the day-by-day breakdown of each value as well as the 5-year average value compared next to it. And you'll notice that if there are any dates available for specifics that happened during this trial, they'll be indicated here. So date planting, and as we scroll down, we'll come across the sample date here as well as the date vine kill, and lastly our date harvested. Now you'll notice here, specific to growing degree days, since we've reset that to 40 degrees, that this is calculating our sum here on the side based on that 40 degree threshold. Lastly, if you're interested in understanding more about the weather station and where the data came from, the last tab, Weather Station, will show you the lat long as well as the elevation of the weather station and the source where that weather data came from, and give you a satellite view of where that weather station is located. So that's a quick highlight of what you can do with the weather data. If I go ahead and go back and add precipitation back in here so I have my full chart, you can also come up here to this export as image, and if I just click on that, I get a nice PNG exported of this chart for me, so I can include that in any reports that I may use. So that's a quick look at how you can utilize weather data within Medius.Re.